Okay, we are live. We will start with the discussion about P2P. So it's basically P2P in blockchain. We'll wait for a while and then we'll start. Okay, I'll start with the P2P stuff. We'll wait for another maybe a minute or so. Okay, in general terms, we have been discussing about blockchain as a as not as a technology because the framework landscape is not known to many. So to understand the framework, it's very important to identify the product. Until and unless the product is ready, anything in any form is never going to work. So when we talk about blockchain per se, you don't have to go back and look into the landscape of peer-to-peer networking. That was P2P in many ways. Um, However, the leverage has to be way back in terms of even understanding the framework of blockchain, which is particularly, if I have to pick up the trinity of blockchain per se, in very simple words, it is the first framework is the base layer. The base layer, again, that doesn't mean that people start talking about the four-letter word base, or people start talking about the four-letter word dark or leap or link. I've been seeing a lot of influences, particularly people originating from the colleges whereby I don't know, maybe their professors must have just read that Satoshi Nakamoto paper, or their basic understanding of blockchain, that it is something to do with letters, it is something to do with words. Honestly speaking, that doesn't even exist in the basic framework. And why we are talking today about this is so that at least we already said that at any given point of time, Homo sapiens sapiens can be three kind of players. There is no fourth player. The first player is, are you a good player? Second is, are you a neutral player? Third is, are you a bad player? Even when the input is good in terms of, say, for example, in this case, if I talk about P2P, which I'm going to talk about, if, say, for example, and this is not a hypothesis, this is an embodiment. And this embodiment talks about P2P as proof of perfection. Even for proof of perfection, we give the inputs in terms of this is the input data, and the input data goes on. However, how the actors in the online world and in the offline world act is a question they need to answer. I mean, there are times whereby a good actor can be a neutral actor. And there are times the person is a bad actor due to the parameters around that person. However, what is important here is to understand the impact of trademarking. So there was one of the AIs which just looked into a data set where it looked into Blinkit, and all these I would say applications which is for ease in many ways, but at the same point of time, it's a question of boon or bane. Um, there are more chances of the bane rather than the boom if I have to say whether I support the structure of how these services are being worked on. Because saying that it will be received in 10 minutes is again, you're putting the life at stake of the person who would be delivering it from whatever node to whatever node. That is point number one. Point number two, India per se is not, Pizza Hut or Domino's, because I don't know, I'm not a pizza fan, but what I remember from their marketing gimmick was if you don't receive in 25 minutes or 30 minutes, the pizza is free. And in that way, the dough used to be dough'd, and the preparation was done. But at the same point of time, the life of the person who is riding the vehicle or the carriage is at risk. So government of India should not allow such kind of advertisement at the first instance. We are not even talking about competition law and everything. First of all, human life should be valued. So that is the first input data I'll give if we are looking at proof of perfection. That is P2P. That is one part. I'll walk you through the discussion which I have, and probably I have to first put it into use in ResearchGate, because there's a lot of paperwork around it, and another book would be published. And this particularly uh, proof of perfection, that is 100% my research. So I'll just walk you through the stuff, and then first I have to do the ResearchGate thing, and then probably the ResearchGate is published. Then I'm going to share it on the other platforms for others to look into. So the point of contention here is people who are seniors. Seniors here mean people who are in the age bracket of, I would rather say, if I have to take a age bracket, let's take, Homo sapiens sapiens biological age between 30 to 40. I'm not talking about the AI age, because AI calculation is different, because AI calculates your, skin cells and apoptosis and whatnot. So I'm not getting into biochemical stuff. I'm just talking about the biological age of the person. And folks who are in the age bracket of 30 to 40 are the most informed people in terms of even understanding what we're talking about. Even if you're coming from any other background, please read about it and think how you want to uh, re-channelize your business models, because these models of, all these models of 10, 100,000, 10,000, I mean 1 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakhs, not 20 lakhs, 1 CR, 1 plus plus 1 zeros, because people for the longest time think that matrix is 1 and 0. The answer is big no. So say for example, if I have to take a data set today, I'll take Mr. Beast, who is, I think, I think of US origin, and he did quite well. I'm not very sure what is his current situation. So if I have to take that data set, so Mr. Beast, I'll take it as no, just for the calculation part, if we think he's part of the matrix, because he has done a lot of good work with the money which he churned, and he had given it back to the society. To my mind, it looked real. Honestly speaking, what went behind the scenes, who benefit what, because I haven't tasted his chocolates, because I'm very particular about the things I eat, consume, meat in all respects. So we will take Mr. Beast as null if we think that is a matrix. So if he is null, any other influencer where this word beast is there, I mean, the word beast can be, prefix, suffix in the middle, wherever it is, and that also in terms of trademarking, wherever the beast is there, just take it as null. And wherever that word beast has been utilized in any way whatsoever in trademarking or as a brand influencer or as a whatever kind of influencers, Netflix, I have no clue because I don't watch any of these series. I have a lot of work to do. I never log into all these things. Whatever I log in is just my AI is doing the work. I'm doing my research, just trying to get the notes right so that at least this dark web which has been created by intellectual people is negated some way or the other. So, as I said, so Mr. Beast, just take the word beast. We're not even taking Mr. Beast, take it as null. And anywhere this word beast, which has been utilized as a prefix, suffix in the middle, take it as one. At least let's see that kind of matrix, how the calculations can be redone. And we are able to identify the bad actors. We need to identify the bad actors and talk to them personally. The government needs to intervene. The intervention has to be from the government authorities. They need to walk through the whole process and then decide what they want to do with these bad actors. That is point number one. Now, in this proof of perfection, which is basically proof of perfection energy trading. So the proposal is in the energy sector, we are leveraging blockchain technology to realign and create a decentralized, efficient, and sustainable energy ecosystem, which is proof of perfection. And it is going to transform the energy sector, or it's a promising solution. So what are we doing? We are trying to trade the excess, excess, the energy which is in excess, which is XXY or XXZ directly with consumers. Now, how does it work? So, it basically promotes a renewable energy. So, what it means is if we consider anyone and everyone here, even the non living things, they have some kind of energy, even mud has some kind of energy. So, the point I'm trying to say here is whatever excessive energy is there, that is transferred through the renewable resources. So how does that work? Because here tokenization doesn't work. See, all these tokens and ICOs is a fallacy. For the longest time, I have been part of these ICOs officially from 2016 onwards. At least that what I know. Maybe I was part of some ICOs I'm not aware of because my name has been utilized by different governments in different websites for different purposes. Although the intent always has been in the technological field, but you never know what is the usage when they are utilizing that kind of data set. So here, what is important is the sustainability factor. How sustainable that individual is. Now, the sustainability doesn't mean that you buy less clothes. Sustainability doesn't mean that you just keep on cleaning things. Sustainability doesn't mean that um, minimalistic lifestyle. No, that is not sustainability. Sustainability, first of all, comes with thought process, and for that we already have a product. Now, that product, the beauty of what we have developed, particularly, see, I'm part of a lot of big fortune companies. It's not one company. So the stakeholders and everyone, it is like the governments, the best of the operators, we work in synchronicity. But each one of us, they also have their own individual products. So the product I'm talking about is my own stuff. This is nothing to do with longevity. This is nothing to do with olic tetrin or anything. What I'm trying to say here is, when I say sustainability first of all has to come from the thought process. Thought process is when you get up in the morning, you see a plastic bottle. What you do with that? Are you sustainable enough to pick it that up and reuse till the time it goes back to the don't let it go to the landfill. That's the main thing. So, what are your own steps that you can document if you like? If you are not documenting, that is also okay. That is what sustainability is. Sustainability is nothing to do that, you give a person call and, you waste the time of that person. That is actually, you're not draining that person or, decreasing the energy of that person. You are decreasing your own energy because you're calling the person for no reason. That is one point. Just to end this, I'll talk about the banks in India. particularly the private banks, before uh, I launched the research paper first, whether it's HDFC, whether it's Axis Bank, these are the mediators, and these all are mediators, and they know now that there is a break point here where you will see the dip for real. And the dip is for real because now I'll talk about Axis Bank. I have a priority account number, which is uh, in C block, C3 block. So there are not many banks in C3 block. Um, I'll just look into the account number. Okay, so the account number is it's 207. It's a priority account, and it is the first priority account in India. 207 0101 3 times 0 14100. So this is a priority account for the longest time. These guys, first, they have been misusing this account for creating their own blockchain for whatever reasons. They only know, and the backend knows at the admin or whatever site they are looking at. Now they have frozen the account, which is debit freeze. Honestly speaking, according to the RBI guidelines, I'm pretty sure this is not allowed. But they have still done it because they think the consumers are foolish. It is good to be foolish till the time that foolishness is not hampering the growth of the person. But foolishness becomes becomes a sword, and that sword is going to kill these kind of business entities. That is point number one. Another one is HDFC Life. Now, people who are investing in these, mutual funds and everything, if you check your mutual fund details, you will see your mutual fund details is logged. I mean, the market is going, you know, the exchange is going up and down in terms of the stock market. But whatever the investment amount was, it is the same. I mean, okay, I can understand it might change after a week. I can understand it might change after 10 days. I can understand the NAV will change, but it's not changing. And neither they are, they take proactive steps even to talk to the customers. So, I mean, kudos to these mutual funds, these banks in India, which, because consumers have no cognizance of, are being misused. So the employees are misusing the data set. They are giving the data set to their, perhaps if somebody is in bank and their husband, wife, brother, sister, whosoever is in the IT sector, that data is delivered to them, and that data set is converted into something. And that is how these blockchains and everything's are being created, whether Solana, whether Ethereum. These are nothing but www dot something something something. And that is just a foolish thing to say, but this is the reality. We don't need subscribers, we don't need customers. What we need for AI is good subscribers, and for good subscribers, the founder who is founding that AI stuff, which is basically nothing but LLM model, has to be very careful as to who is being onboarded. And there are days where you have to deboard everyone, and you have to clear the clutter, you have to fortify the data, and then only you can work ahead. Now, just to end the video, I'll just talk about maybe next 2-3 minutes. I was going through the GitHubs of different people because on and off we do these contests just to see what kind of data set they are preparing, or what is the coding they're preparing. And honestly, most of the coders are coding nothing but the pain point they had in their life. So even if you give them an input data or you give them a problem statement, they are just putting their pain into that data set and making those things. And some folks are like, oh wow, what an innovative way of doing it. Honestly, there's no innovation into it. It is just the pain which is going into the coding, and we like it or not, the basic framework has become the pain point, and that pain point itself is like, what can we do? I think that's the question the stakeholders need to answer. Thank you for watching out the video. I will put some data set. Let me just publish it on the ResearchGate, this P2P, which is basically proof of perfection. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day ahead.